Wow, David, you're bringing back those 80s glasses. You're welcome. Today, as you can see from the title of the video, I want to talk about Leelah Alcorn and crappy parenting. And I don't use that term lightly, but I have worked with kids for more than 5 years at this point in my life, and I have seen a lot of crappy parenting. It's out there, it exists, and we need to talk about it. If you don't know who Leelah Alcorn is, I will link resources in the description. However, just to give you a brief description of the situation, about a month ago, Leelah Alcorn, a transgender girl, commits suicide, and she left a suicide note on her Tumblr blog, which was actually scheduled to be posted following her death, and it did. And it essentially blamed her parents for her own inability to express who she was, feel comfortable in her own skin, and be the individual that she always felt she was meant to be. For me, I think parents have a responsibility, and the responsibility is to love and support your child unconditionally. And unconditional love and support does not have conditions. You know, I think a lot of the time people say, and I've said this before, that if your parents don't support you, your friends will, and maybe someone else in your family will. But at the end of the day, at least for me, my parents mean a lot to me, and they impact my life a lot, and so to not have support from them would be heartbreaking. And in this situation, maybe her parents didn't understand why she identified as trans. Maybe they don't understand trans issues. They haven't gone out and actively understood what it's like to be a trans individual. However, following this information, it's their responsibility to go out and seek that. It's their responsibility to non-judgmentally support their child, support Leelah, and treat her as a human being. Her suicide note is actually extremely heartbreaking. But she goes on to mention that for her, the slogan, "it gets better," doesn't work. Because right now, it's not. And it's hard, and when you're in a situation, especially when you're a young person, it's hard to imagine that 2-3 years from now, I'm gonna find support. But that doesn't help right now. The people who are responsible for providing support and making sure that it gets better now are the people that are currently in your life. So to parents out there, to friends out there, for your child that's struggling, for a friend that's struggling, it's your responsibility to reach out and help. It's their responsibility to reach back out to you. But if you follow that with, "No, not my problem, sorry, your issues," that's not going to help the situation. It's your responsibility to respond and be supportive and be there for that individual. So yes, this speaks to LGBT issues as a whole. That LGBT people need to experience more acceptance, LGBT rights need to be guaranteed by the law, but this is a transgender issue. This is specifically a transgender individual who commits suicide because she did not feel accepted by her parents. And that is heartbreaking. Transgender people deserve every right that other people have. And I think a lot of the time, people in and outside of the LGBT spectrum tend to forget the T. And I think it's time that we start remembering it. So that is my take on this situation. Obviously, it means that we need to be having a broader discussion about trans rights and trans issues. But my question for you this week, and please comment down below, do you think that on some level her parents are responsible for this situation? Are Leelah Alcorn's parents, some way or another, responsible for her death? Or am I completely wrong? Because I might be, so let me know. I make videos approximately once a week, even though that sometimes does not happen, but please do subscribe for more. I will talk to you all next week, and until then, have a fantastic one. Bye guys, David out.